there is a 4 per unit positive externality associated with this consumption of this good. What is the increase in total surplus if the government provides a 4 per unit subsidization program? So basically total surplus before any government intervention, we need to find that first, then we find total surplus after the government fixes the problem. Right? And the difference would be the increase in total surplus. Right. So let's look at it. What is total surplus without any government intervention? Well, first of all, we have, as in a regular demand supply situation, we have the area of this triangle, right? And let's see, the base is, this is the intersect of 15, right? And this is 3. So this whole thing is 12. And then the height would be basically the quantity in equilibrium, 9, right? So the area of this triangle, so I'm going to go total surplus 1, 12 times 9 over 2, or 54. Is that it? Is that the total surplus with no government intervention?
Yes.
Yeah? So the society does not get anything else out of the consumption of this good, besides what is represented here. Look at the question again. What does it say? If there is a 4 per unit positive externality associated with this good, is that positive externality represented on the picture at all? Is it accounted for? No. So when the market treats this good and arrives at a certain quantity, right, they don't really realize that they're getting more than they paid for, right, because of the positive externality. So in addition to consumer surplus and producer surplus, society also gets the externality, right? They just don't account for it. And the externality we're told is 4 per unit, right? So this is a positive externality part. We sell 9 units in this case, and each of them gives us an extra of 4 that is not accounted for in here, right? So that is 36. And then total surplus that is without any intervention is 90 units, whatever the unit is. Correct? Right. This is the base case. Now the government comes in, and what does it do? Subsidizes by giving $4 per unit. What does that do to those curves? The supply and demand curve. What's going to happen? Which one is going to shift when there's a subsidy? Demand, which way?
To the right.
To the right, right? Demand is going to increase. So basically the true benefit of this good, which is represented by the social demand, is going to be $4 higher than what this demand curve is representing. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then choose 1, 2, 3, 4 here. We have a shift of the demand curve to the right. And this is the social demand curve. Now, what is total surplus in this situation? Make sure. This is actually where they intersect. Right, so how can I find total surplus? It is the area of what?
Area of the whole triangle.
Of the whole big triangle, right? So it's this whole area. Right, and the difference between the area of this triangle and 90 is going to get us our extra total surplus. So now I just need to find that. Well, the height is the quantity, the equilibrium quantity, which is the socially optimal equilibrium quantity, right? And we see that it's higher than before the intervention. We know what's going to happen. And this is 12. And then the base of this triangle is, what is this, 19 minus 3, 16. So total surplus 2 is 12 times 16 divided by 2, 6 times 16, 96. Right? So now that we know that, what is the increase in total surplus if the government fixes the problem.
$6.
$6. Right, and that is answer A. Does that make sense? Alright, so in the same scenario, if there is a 2 per unit negative externality this time associated with this good, what is total surplus in equilibrium? Meaning with no government intervention. Alright, so there's nothing going on, government is not imposing any taxes. What is total surplus in that case? Alright, so this is the scenario, there's nothing going on. However, we do know that there's a $2 per unit negative externality. So what is total surplus? Well, as before, we start with the area of this triangle, right? And we already know what it is. We just calculated it. It's 54, right? This is the sum of producer surplus and consumer surplus. So yeah, that's 54. So is my answer C? Am I done? No, right. So what do I need to account for?
$2 negative.
$2 per unit negative externality. So the externality part, which is negative in this case, is $2 per unit, and in this market, when there's no intervention, I sell 9 units. 18, 36. Right? This is negative. So total surplus becomes 36. Right? Because this does not reflect the negative externality. People are actually suffering by selling 9 units of this good without realizing it or without accounting for it. Do you agree?